If we give people story spaces, they take them, they claim them. Sometimes they change them. Kathy Hunter from Walla Walla, Washington said, I'm going to take an old folk tale and change it so it talks about the StoryBox. And so she travels all over the place, and it's World Black Awareness Month. And I want to share that story in that vein. In the central part of Africa, there was a man whose name was Kubuku Anansi. And even though he was half man and half spider, he wanted to be known for something more. And so one day, he spun a great spider web. And he said, I want to be known for something. And he spun his web, and he spun his web. And then he heard a lot of people laughing. I mean, really laughing. They're laughing. And he heard people crying so that he could hear it. They were crying. A little bit. Come on. Laughing. Crying, laughing, crying. He said, what is that? What is that? I want that. Something to make people laugh. Something to make people cry. I want that. And all the animals and the people who were talking at the same time said, oh, well, that's stories. That's what we call a story. He said, I want that. He said, you can't have that. Naomi and the sky god has that. He keeps it in a box, a red box with all things on it. And he keeps all those stories and they're locked up. And you can't have that. They're so small. He said, I'll have it. And he spun a great spider web and he began to climb up that web. And he got up there, and even though he was the smallest creature, he looked over and he said, Naomi, who was as big as a cloud. He was as big as this room. And he looked over. He said, Go, Anansi, what do you want? I want stories. Anytime someone tells a story, I want the credit. Go, Anansi. In order for you to have the stories, you must do 3 things. You must bring me Memoro, King of the Hornets. I'm this small. I don't care. You must bring me Anani, the great python. You must bring me a Subo, the most ferocious leopard in all the African jungle. I said, are you sure I can't do something? Can I phone a friend? No, you must bring them. He said, all right. And he went down to earth. And he brought with him a calabash, and he carried it, and he scooped it up into the water. And he went up to the tree where the hornet's nest was. And he poured that water on the tree, and he said, run, Memoro. What's going on? What's going on? What do I do? He says, there's blood. Run to the safety of this calabash. And he went into the calabash. And he took some dry grass, and he trapped him. And he said, how will I get Anani, the great python? How will I get him? And he yelled out, Anani! And he heard it like an echo. Anani! And out of the grass, Anani. Anansi. What seems to be the problem? Anani, I got a problem. You see, my wife said you're, and he pulled out a bamboo pole. He said, you're dumber and shorter than this bamboo pole. I see the problem. Whatever will you do? How would I measure it? All right. And he went side by side. He said, well, we got a problem. You're shrinking on this side and you're not shrinking on the other side. How about I take this vine creeper and I tie it to your head so you don't move? Oh, okay. I didn't say it was smart. He said, oh, well, you're still moving. How about I take it, tie it to your tail? Oh, okay. And when he knew he didn't move, he took him. And he thought, how am I going to get the most ferocious leopard in all the African jungle? And he dug a pit. It's kind of fun. And he dug this large pit. And he hid behind a tree, like my tree. And he hid behind this tree, and he ran, and the leopard came and fell into the pit, and we all heard him cry out, "Ah!" I can do this forever. "Ah! Come on, raise those voices. Ah!" They're going, "I just wanted to eat. Ah!" So Nazi put his head over the pit. Subo said, "Nazi, I've fallen and I can't get up." Some of you get that joke. He said, "Well, I can't help you. You'll eat me." "I will not eat you. I promise." "I have your word? A leper's word? Is that any good?" "I know." So he took it. He said, "All right, I'll take this rubber tree plant and I'll move it all the way down, and you put that vine creeper," very handy vine creeper, "and tie it to your tail, and I'll spring up and you'll be free." "Okay." And so he took the rubber tree plant, he tied it up, and he hit a tree instead. Another tree. Wow. And he was completely unconscious, so he picked up a Subo, he picked up a Nani, he picked up whoever's next, Momoro. And he spun a great spider web, and he went up and he saw Naomi, the great sky god. "Ah, what do you have?" And he had presented them all. And he took out a large box. Christina's going to pick up a large box. And she walked out and shared it with the world. She shared this box. And it was a box of stories. But she found one person in this entire crowd that was going to be the keeper of the box. She handed it to them. She handed it to them. That person stood up, came all the way up here, and the wind began to pick up as she was going down to earth. The wind began to pick up. But she couldn't hold on to the box. They went north. It went all over the place, but she's still trying to hold on to the wind. The wind, come on, the wind! And it was going back and forth, and some stories were flying out, and they went north, and south, and east, and west. And that's why we have stories all over the world. But she was able to hold on to some. And in this part of Africa, and in other parts of the world, they are still known as Anansi's stories.